Hi, friends. Welcome back to Cultivating Clarity. I'm Amy Deitemeyer. I'm a clarity coach, and I love to help you feel heard, seen, and loved. And I help you get unstuck from tough emotions and decisions. So, here on my channel, we just talk through things that can hold us back as women, or things that I have seen through my many years of leadership, and common threads through women that make them stumble, or ways we shame ourselves. So today I want to talk again about the forms of rest. I did this episode several weeks ago. I didn't have my handy dandy microphone yet, and the sound quality was really terrible. So I'm going to cover this topic again because it's been such a transformational topic in my life over the last 5 years. So when we think of rest, typically we think of sleeping well. Like if somebody says, "Are you rested?" or how do you rest? You typically think, "Oh, well, I didn't sleep very well last night," or "I've been sleeping pretty good," or "I don't sleep through the night," or "It's hard for me to go to sleep." We usually think about sleep, but there are actually 7 forms of rest. And depending on what's happening in your life, will depend on what type of rest you really need. Our goal in learning about the types of rest first is to be able to learn to identify when we need it before burnout. So if you're finding yourself with brain fog or a short temper or just overexhausted or overwhelmed with things, then chances are you need to rest. And we want to head that off before you get burnt out. And then the second part is to know what type of rest you might need to really discover what helps you feel truly rested and refreshed and renewed. So, sleep and rest are not always the same thing. They can be, but you'll find that sleep is just one, actually, just a half of the 7 types of rest. Now, I do want to give credit where credit is due. And I found this study, actually, it was a TED Talk I found from Dr. Saundra Dalton-Smith. And it was phenomenal. And she just covered briefly the 7 types of rest. So I'm going to relay what she talked about in her TED Talk. And then I'm also going to link that in the comments in case you want to look at it for yourself. And over the last several months, I've really dug in to what this looked like in my life, even before I identified it as 7 types, and dug in more to help me understand what each type looks like. And then I'm passing that on to you. I have a rest challenge going on right now. I will have another one starting in April that's totally free. And it's just really becoming aware of when you need to rest and talking about the different types of rest and practicing that. Because when we don't practice, we tend to not know how to do it because that's not something that we're taught. Okay, so let's talk about the 7 types of rest. I'm going to name them off for you and then I'll go into more details. So we have physical, mental, sensory, creative, emotional, social, and spiritual. And I always have to have my list here because I forget that that's a lot, right? It can feel overwhelming. But when you're in the mode where you need some rest, if you learn how to hear your body, it will tell you which one you need. And typically, you only need about 1 or 2 at a time. Okay, physical rest in itself has 2 different types within it. First, we have passive rest, which is what everybody thinks of. It's sleep. Can also be napping, which I realize is the same as sleep, but naps are different than going to bed for 7 to 8 hours at night. So I always like to include that. Passive rest is when you are sleeping. Active rest is things like yoga, meditation, mindfulness, going on a walk. That is active physical rest. Mental rest is scheduling short breaks throughout your day. I honestly find that this is the easiest to teach my clients because you can slip it in and it only can take a couple of minutes at a time. And when we're busy or feeling overwhelmed or feeling the pressure, we don't want to make time for things. So mental rest is really great. A great way to practice that is to set an alarm if you're sitting down to do a project. Make sure you're getting up every hour or 90 minutes to take a 5-minute break or a 10-minute break. It can be something simple like brain dumps. I love a good brain dump. If you've ever heard me teach on time management, you know I talk about brain dumps. That is just at the beginning of the week, dumping your brain onto paper. All the things that you have to do during the week. We're going to cook for dinner. Anything that comes up gets on that brain dump. And you can add to it through the week. But the point is, when you dump your brain at the very beginning of the week, it clears up space and gives you freedom to not carry those things with you and try not to forget. Okay. Sensory rest looks like a break from computer screens, bright lights, multiple conversations at once. So you can actually do this also throughout the day by just closing your eyes and imagining that you're somewhere else, maybe on a beach. That's what I would imagine. It would be intentionally unplugging from your electronics. So maybe if you go to bed at 10 o'clock, you shut your phone off at 8, or you just put it on Do Not Disturb, or you intentionally take a day where you don't return messages and emails if you have that freedom, whatever that looks like, the unplugging of your devices. Creative rest is something that I was surprised to learn about. Now, it showed up for me in my recent healing journey, but I didn't know what it was. Okay. So creative rest is anything that is, um, it could be like a hands-on type of craft. I used to love jigsaw puzzles. Um, it can be displaying places that you really love, at your desk or around your home. And it really just, um, anything that sparks that creative imagination. And it's especially important, creative rest is especially important for people who are brainstorming or problem solving all day long, just to take a break from that. Because the point of rest is really just to shut off the intentional thought and let our brains go on autopilot and just take a pause. Emotional rest is one of my favorites because I really had to work on it. And emotional rest is being able, my paper won't stay up, being able to answer honestly when someone says, "How are you?" or "How's your day?" And as a recovering people pleaser, I don't want to make anyone uncomfortable. And I don't want to, have anybody feel bad for me or anything like that, because that might make them unhappy. But having an emotional rest is to be safe and confident in being authentic and giving an answer to that question that is real. And you don't have to give them all the dirt, but just to say, I'm just not having a good day. I almost ran out of gas on the way to work, and then I spilled my coffee, and then I got a call from my kid's school, and it's been a rough day. You don't have to give them all the dirt, but just to be authentically honest gives you that emotional rest. Social rest is being able to experience surrounding yourself with supportive people. So we become like the 5 people that we most hang around. And if those people are negative or even just neutral, sometimes it can feel negative if they're not excited for you or supportive of you, or they're, doubtful. That will make you socially tired. So, social rest is being able to surround yourself with people who are supportive and caring and uplifting. And spiritual rest is the ability to connect beyond physical and mental for that really deep sense of belonging and love and purpose. So, this could be something like adding prayer to your day, adding meditation, getting community involvement, like getting involved in something in your community. All of that gives you purpose and belonging and can be a form of spiritual rest. So, that's just a quick overview. Like I said, I dig deeper with my clients, with my in my challenge. I might, if you think it's interesting, I might even break them down even more in on this channel. So you'll have to let me know, which one do you want to hear more about? Which one do you struggle with? Which one's easy for you? It's usually easiest to get physical rest in the passive way of sleeping. But even in that, we don't do it well, because as women, we feel guilty. We think, oh, something else needs done, or I should be doing blah, 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 or I can't possibly stop because then things won't get done. Like, we just inundate ourselves and with all of that, those negative thoughts, and we don't truly rest. So that's a whole nother episode, but that is something that I love to help people with because, like I said, rest has so transformed my life in the last 5 years. That's it, friend. Thank you so much for watching. Would love to hear from you anytime. And if you think coaching together would be a good fit, then reach out. You can schedule a free 30-minute discovery session with me. We just meet virtually and we talk through your concern, get to know each other, and decide if we should work together, if that would be comfortable for the both of us. And from there, then I just recommend the length of time that would be helpful. And if you just need to get through any sort of stuck emotion or decision, or you're wanting to learn to draw boundaries, or you're like, I really need to rest better, or I'd like to stop my negative self talk, I do all the things. So reach out and see if it would be a good fit. It's free, and I would love to meet you. I love you. I want the best for you. Have a fantastic week.